Saltburn turned me on a little more than it probably should have. So I went into Saltburn kind of blind, if you will, because although I've seen the trailers once or twice while watching movies at the cinema, every time those trailers came on, they were not open captioned, so I don't really know what happened beyond seeing what happened. Everything sounded like a blur to me for the most part. So I went in a little bit blind. And although I was interested in it, I just never really made the push to actually go see Saltburn in theaters. Until there was a tweet that was reposted on Facebook that was talking about how Barry, aka Felix, no, Barry plays a guy named Oliver. So Barry, aka Oliver, went into the bathroom after Jacob, aka Felix, was finished relieving himself in a sexual manner in the bathtub. Felix walks off. Oliver comes into the bathtub and gets rid of the substance that happens after you relieve yourself. He gets rid of the substance by consuming it with his mouth. I think that tweet actually made a lot of people very intrigued and wanting to go see it because we are all very strange creatures. Also, listen, I'm a Barry fan. I have been since the Eternals, and his character with Lauren Ridloff's character. Love them together. I've done a video on that. And lo and behold, there was an open caption showing for Saltburn. Probably was the last one that they were going to have, and so I went at 7:30 at night. A very interesting movie indeed. Actually, no, I remember the other thing that got me watching it was a mutual on Instagram had seen it and talked about how Barry was naked in the movie, and that's when I thought, yep, that's enough. That's the one thing that's gonna get me to spend $12 to go see this. That and open caption showing. So, Saltburn is about Oliver being a new student at Oxford. He sees Felix, who is this popular, extremely rich kid. Okay, young adult, he's not really a kid, but anyhow. And Oliver is smitten, and he wants to be Felix's friend, probably a little bit more, but keep in mind, this little being smitten and this friendship, it's not very genuine. Maybe it started out that way, but very quickly, not so much. So you get this, I want to say it's about an hour-long build-up, which, if you saw my Saw X review, I had an issue with that being an hour of backstory, even though I wanted backstory, but the 1 hour here makes sense because you are getting the build-up of how their friendship started and how it's going, because it's a 6-month-long journey and nothing's being repeated multiple times, at least as far as I can remember. The kid who was in Gran Turismo also is in it. That shocked me, and actually I think he was one of my favorite characters. Farley is his name. I liked Farley. I also liked Venetia, who is or was Felix's sister. So Saltburn is definitely interesting because, oh, Barry. I don't think I've ever sat in the cinema and wanted to say out loud, yes sir, and sit down in my seat until Barry came along and decided to play Oliver. He's the antagonist in this film. I shouldn't be acting the way that I am, but considering what I read, this movie is definitely a little bit raunchy. There's definitely sexual things happening in here, but I'm gonna be honest, I thought it was gonna be more raunchy. I thought we were actually going to see it be raunchy, and it wasn't as much as I was expecting it to be. What was also talked about that I think definitely got women intrigued by this movie is how Oliver goes down on Felix's sister, but before that actually happens though, there's a intense makeout session and fingers being used, and Venetia is telling him how she's on that time in a month, she's bleeding, it's messy, whatever, it's gross to her, or maybe she doesn't care, but the guys will care and get all, ew, that's nasty. Oliver doesn't give a damn, and thus begins the intense makeout session and some other things that had me quite intrigued. As someone who also doesn't really get into the mood during that time, but that movie was probably changing some minds women, anyone who has a menstrual cycle. But it's so weird to me how, if you look on the Wikipedia page in the plot summary, when he goes to town, going down to town, that part is mentioned in the plot summary, and the shot of that is so far away, you don't see anything. I mean, I'm not expecting the filming style of 365 Days. That is a whole horror series to me in itself. It's not actually a horror series, but still, I'm not expecting that level of seeing it. But the shot is from so far away, half a mile away maybe. And that is because Farley is watching and he's wanting to get revenge later because he's upset by seeing it. So I get that. But they put that part in, so I was expecting more seeing that. But they completely left out the intense makeout session in the plot summary of Wikipedia, at least at the time that I was reading it and learning about it and seeing it for the first time. There is a sexual encounter with Farley, which I found very strange because those were two people that I never expected to see. Although, considering Oliver has an end goal of wanting to take over the household and all of that and get rid of everybody else, okay, that makes sense. You get to your enemies to get what you want. This encounter, though, definitely was more of sexual assault, I want to say, because he's threatening him while that's happening. But also any time that you're using sex to get what you want, and it's especially for evil reasons, that still counts, doesn't it? Either way, definitely felt more of that type of thing in this particular scene. And then you get to the bathroom, the bathtub scene with Felix. He's done relieving himself. He goes to wherever the heck he's going to, I guess to his bedroom. Oliver comes into the bathroom and he drinks the leftover tub water, and I'm easily disgusted by that stuff for some reason, so talking about that just made me gag a little. But I was also so strangely, weirdly intrigued by that scene. It's funny watching these types of scenes because it feels very A24, the production company, to me. But A24 isn't producing this movie. A24 isn't involved in this at all. If you've seen The Green Knight with Dev Patel, which was produced or something by A24, how the scenes were shot and things like that made me think about The Green Knight. And I'm kind of surprised A24 wasn't involved in this. I'm not familiar with any of the production companies that are involved in this. I only know of the distribution companies. I'm honestly surprised that Felix and Oliver never got anywhere sexually, because I just felt like that was gonna happen. Well, okay, it doesn't happen in a way that you would think that it would happen. So eventually, there's a lover's quarrel, or, the rejection, and Oliver is upset, and if I can't have you, then nobody else can. Felix gets killed. You know, obviously, that Oliver's the one that does it, but they don't make that big reveal until the end of the movie. But you know. So, Felix is dead. The funeral goes. Everyone's left. But Oliver stays. He stands in front of the big dirt pile, starts crying, losing his mind. I mean, understandable. You love the guy, and Oliver takes off his pants, pulls them down, lays down on the dirt pile. Yeah, something goes into the... He and his nether regions go into the dirt pile, and that was quite strange. It's one of those moments I really want the bloopers to, because I can only imagine how awkward filming something like that is. There are so many scenes in so many films where I just want to see possible bloopers, because the most awkward scenes definitely have to make some of the best bloopers. Felix gets killed, and thus everybody else is starting to get killed off because, again, Oliver wants to take control. Little sister goes, Farley the cousin goes. Also, speaking of Farley, okay, I've never seen Rent, so this is probably why I'm not understanding the scene. But in Wikipedia it says, tensions between Oliver and Farley reach a pitch during a karaoke party when, after a brief flirtatious moment, Farley tricks Oliver into performing Rent in front of the family. And that's when Oliver threatens him later with the sexual encounter and whatever else. So I knew it's someone who has seen Rent, to explain that part to me because I was very confused when I watched it, because Farley is like, hey, here's this great singer that we can have singing a song, and then he tells Oliver to come up and sing the song, and I think Oliver is getting into it for a moment, but then he realizes what the song is, something from Rent, and then he gets angry, and I didn't understand that part because I'd never seen Rent, and I'll probably Google it after this, but if someone can explain it to me in the comments, that would be wonderful. So all the other family members are getting killed off until there's the mother left. Elspeth, I think that's her name. Elspeth and Oliver had this kind of a little thing. I want to say they don't really make it obvious. Like, there's no, like, actual physical encounter between the two. But I have a question. Did she actually suddenly fall fatally ill, according to Wiki, and, well, you see it in the movie? Was it natural causes, or did he do something to her? That was a question that I had when seeing the movie, and obviously I cannot rewind the movie in a cinema. And so I came to Wiki, and now I don't know what happened. But for some reason, the scene before you find out that she's on her deathbed, they're showing the staircase, the spiral staircase, and for some reason in my brain I was thinking, did he push her off over the staircase and then she fell and somehow survived? But Wiki is saying that she was just extremely ill, so now I'm wondering, was it just natural causes or what? Because to me, it would make sense that he would also make her sick. Then again, why would you just make her sick and then let her just be in bed alive? Why wouldn't you just automatically go and kill her to begin with? But eventually he does. He kills her by taking her off life support. So obviously he did that. But how did she get into that bed in the first place? Was it natural causes, or did he do something? Like poison her or something? Because we know that he planned to run into Elspeth in the cafe years later so that she would invite him to stay at the house, at the mansion, whatever. All of that was planned so that she would give the money all over to him, ownership of Saltburn. So it just makes sense to me that he would get her sick in the first place before he actually killed her. Does anyone know? Maybe it's explained somewhere in a different article or video. But yes, he does eventually kill her by removing her from life support. On one hand, I get it. On the other hand, I'm like, well then. I mean, if she's just gonna be there, why wouldn't you just get rid of her so that way you could be fully alone and in absolute full control of the place? I don't know. Was she ever gonna come back from life support? I don't know. And then you get to the very end where it's literally just like a 5-minute thing of Oliver dancing naked around the mansion. And it's reminding me of when I was watching, what's the exact name? It's a movie, it's also a book. It was originally a book. The Lady Chatterley? Lady Chatterley's lover is in the movie, and Jack O'Connell, you might know him as James Cook from Skins especially. Grew up on Skins, grew up on James Cook, love him. And in that movie, definitely a lot of raunchy. Definitely what you would see from 365 Days, if not more actually. But it's more tasteful. But you see James Cook running around the field and the other woman running around naked. So apparently I am seeing a lot of UK men just naked. And you see Barry just naked. You see everything. He's twirling around and whatever, and it's just, I'm so happy I went to go see this movie after all on the big screen. I don't think it would be the same feeling just watching it on my iMac at all. There were a few other people in the room with us, so I don't really know how they felt, especially the women. But we were all probably just sitting there like, oh, okay, that's something. Overall, I think I gave Saltburn 4.5 on Letterboxd. I don't know what it was that made me not quite push to 5 stars. Something about it. I can't remember what I said in my little review, but something about it just had to take off 0.5 from me. I don't know what it is still yet. It's a very good movie. It's definitely more slow than I prefer. It's slow, but it's not slow. I think it's, if you were me and you had my brain, if I could like plug in my brain and have you understand what's going on in there, you would get it. I think maybe it's just because for me, when I usually watch thrillers and things like that where it is like I'm planning to kill people and take over kind of way, I think it's when I usually watch those, they're more like duh, 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 duh. Whereas there's, you know, all that more build up and it's not as intense because you're not really supposed to know that Oliver is the one that's committing these murders and the, what's the word I'm looking for? Manipulation is not the word that I'm looking for, although there is manipulation in this. But like the backstabbing and pretending that Farley is the one that sent out the emails that got him kicked out of the mansion to begin with. What is that word that I'm looking for? English is hard. If you let me know, because it's gonna bug me now. But yeah, overall, I think it's a good movie. I would definitely watch it again when it comes out to streaming. I've never really cared for Jacob as an actor all that much. Granted, I've only ever seen him on a kissing booth and I've seen very small clips of Euphoria. But I kind of liked him in this. I can understand why there are people who like him, but Barry wins my heart mostly. So yeah, if you've seen Saltburn, let me know what you thought of it down below in the comments. Let's talk about it. If you like these movie reviews, you want to know about more movies and stuff like that, I do talk more about those on a $5 tier on Patreon. So if you would like to support the work that I do and also get more work for yourself, or more content for yourself, consider becoming a Patreon member. I will have that link somewhere here down below. Consider joining as a channel member if you'd like some extra content there as well. If monthly commitments are not your thing, that's perfectly okay, but if you would like to support the work, leave a tip or something, there's also a super thanks down here. And of course, for more movie reviews and discussions in the future, if you have not yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you hopefully do not miss out on future uploads. Thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this video. I very much appreciate it, and I will see you later after I watch Barry again. Okay, bye!